and welcome to another episode of Something Witchy, a Sabrina the Teenage Witch rewatch podcast. I'm Lara Cotter.
And I'm Sky Orchard.
We have a little bit of stuff to talk about at the beginning, so if you don't want to listen to our fun chit-chat, which, why are you even listening to this podcast if you don't want to listen to this? But if you want to get into the episode, you might want to skip ahead a little bit. Maybe Sky can do the voice of God Sky in editing to tell you when you can tune back in.
Ladies and gentlemen, your regular your regular scheduled programming.
So first of all, if you hear any sort of like screw drill type noises in the background, it's because my washing machine broke a week ago. I have like a really old washing machine. It's like 15, 20 years old, and it has no buttons on it. It only has knobs. And the knob that tells you like what type of a load is it, like a normal, a delicate, whatever, that knob broke, and I could kind of still make it work. But so I ordered new knobs, and first of all, I didn't order them from Amazon because I'm trying not to support Amazon, and also it was just cheaper to go through the manufacturer. Then it took forever to come, so I got them today. And then my dad was over because I was getting a new dishwasher installed, which they gave me a delivery window of 1 to 5 p.m. He showed up at 4:58 p.m. I know that this is a universal experience. How are we all always at the end of the scheduled time frame? Why is there nobody who's like, yeah, they said they're going to be here at 1 and they were here at 1, or they were here at like 12:50. Like, you never hear those stories. So I don't know how we're all happen to be at the very end of the time frame. That just statistically cannot work.
I did have one time where they were like 4 minutes early.
Whoa.
Like, what the crap? I'm not in pants. Gotta give me a second to open the door. It's first thing in the morning.
That's officially all the luck you're allowed for the rest of your life once that happens. Like, it's just downhill from there. So anyways, my dad was over here and I had to run to my parents' house so I could teach piano. And while I was there, my dad was like, hey, I'm going to look at your washing machine while I'm here. Because I was going to be the big girl and fix it myself, because it's like, oh, it's not that hard, I can do this. And then he's like, FYI, that wasn't the problem, and it's much bigger than we thought it was.
Oh no.
Currently in my laundry room, because he figured out what the problem is, and the thing that's broken cannot be replaced. And so he's trying to figure out how we can like MacGyver this so that I don't have to get a new washing machine.
Oh, fun times.
Yeah, so being an adult is just the worst. So that, number one, if you hear that in the background, apologies. Number two, if you enjoyed our discussion about the Holly PSA posters a couple episodes ago, I actually created the drugs there to die for and the eat a potato, not be a potato. I created posters that look like that. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, you can go on our Instagram, find those posters, and there's actually a link to download them if you want to like download and print out these posters. If you're a teacher, if you just want to have fun at the workplace, if you want them in your own house, you can download them. Maybe we'll even print out a couple and use those for prizes and give them away at some point. But they'll have to be pretty decent prizes, because it's going to, I mean, I guess if I fold them, it won't cost that much to ship. But if I roll them up, it might cost a bit of money. We did get some new email. I think maybe we need to have like a fan mail episode at some point, because I've gotten behind in our email readings. But those of you who do email us, I do read them. So thank you so much for writing in, and I really appreciate it.
I sometimes glance at them.
I got really bad for a minute there and just stopped checking the email, because for a very long time all it was this person posted something on TikTok.
I swear I set up a filter.
You did.
Okay.
You fixed it. But it was like that for so long that I just got desensitized to any email notifications.
Well, I get the Reddit notifications. That's like the only email notifications I get, but I don't mind, because then I click in and I'm like, ooh, what's Laura posting on the Sabrina sub?
But yeah, that means that some of our actual mail has gotten lost in the shuffle. So I've read them. I'm going to try and reply to them. They have been read. You are loved. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Thank you.
And then Sky and I had an adventure this weekend.
We did.
Last week, after we were finished recording, Sky and I were talking about, because Caroline Ray was coming to Provo. And Provo is about 40 minutes south of me. And I'm 40 minutes south of Sky. So it's 80 minutes south for Sky. And we were like, do we want to go? And we're like debating back and forth, because it was a family-friendly version of her stand-up. And it's kind of far away, but we're like, no, we're going to go. We're going to see, like, how does she make her stand-up family-friendly? And we ended up going to the late show, the 9 p.m. show, because there were still VIP tickets available for that one. And I was like, let's do the VIP, so, like, maybe we can get Carolyn to sign some of our stickers for us. So Sky drives 40 minutes to pick me up halfway. And then we drive another 40 minutes. And then we stand in line. and wait outside for like 20 minutes. And we're like, we are first in the VIP line. We are ready to go.
First choice of our seats. We're going to be front and center, even if we're heckled.
It was so good. Like we were ready. And we get our seats and we sit down in our chosen seats. And because we got VIP tickets, we got popcorns and soda for free because this is Provo and it's at a place called Dry Bar, which by its definition, there's no alcohol.
And I was very excited to finally try my first Dirty Coke because I swear I saw somewhere that they had those, which a Dirty Coke in Utah is literally just a Diet Coke with some cream and a lime.
Yeah.
And then the girl looked at me like I was crazy when I asked for a Dirty Coke. And I was like, this is Utah County, right? And so she just gave me a Coke.
Yeah. So first disappointment is that we're in Provo.
Yes.
Second disappointment is that Sky does not get a Dirty Coke. And I had given Sky my phone because the tickets were on my phone to go get the popcorns and the soda. And Sky comes back and they're like, did you notice that the names were different on the tickets? And I was like, what? No, in the email, it says Caroline Ray and it says the other guy. This guy's like, no, on the QR code you had to click into, the names are different at the top. And I'm like, what?
Thank goodness I saw, though.
And I also want to shout out one of our listeners. We've talked about him before. He's the one who's very into Bewitched and like even has like, I think a book about Bewitched that he's written. He tried to warn us. He commented on our Facebook page and was like, hey, if you guys are coming down to see Caroline, she's canceled. And so she won't be there. And Facebook did not give me a notification that he had commented. So I didn't even see that until like an hour after all of this goes down. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go talk to somebody. So I go up and I get somebody to get a manager and he comes out and I'm like, so what happened? Because I had looked up the new person's name and he had posted on Tuesday. Oh, I'm so excited. I get to do my first recording at Dry Bar this week, which meant that he knew on Tuesday that he was going to be performing and he was not listed on the program as of the Sunday before that. So like 2 days before that. I talked to the manager. I'm like, so I drove down here to see Caroline Ray. I bought my tickets to see Caroline Ray. What is going on? Why didn't I get any emails about this? And first he tries to tell me that, oh no, we just found out today that she's not coming. Which is like, number one, I know that's not true because the replacement dude posted about it 4 days ago. So number one, that's a lie. And I was like, why wasn't I notified at all? And he's like, well, they told us they sent out an email. He's like, maybe it went to your spam or just got lost in the ethernet. I'm like, there's nothing in my spam. The only thing I got in my spam folder from Dry Bar was, hey, come sign up for Dry Bar Plus, which absolutely not now. Wasn't going to before. Definitely not now. And I'm like, there's nothing from Dry Bar anywhere. And he's like, okay, well, you're just going to have to email the customer service line and maybe they can get you a partial refund. I am asking for a full refund. I still have not heard back. Sky was sitting next to me and can attest to the very angry white woman email I sent to the customer service line.
There were all capitals as I sneakily glanced sideways.
Like, it was already kind of a bad day. This was where it started going downhill. And I was just getting angrier and angrier as the day went on or as the night went on. So anyway, we're like, we're already here. One of these guys was actually already supposed to be in the show. Let's just stay. And that was a choice we made.
It was comedy in Provo.
It was Provo comedy. It was Provo family friendly comedy. There was a yo-yo. There was some singing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we left.
We did.
We stayed for the whole thing. We were good sports about it.
Yes, because this was being filmed. And I was like, well, if we just suddenly disappear, does that look weird?
Although we were also right up front and they were filming parts of the audience. And I'm like, they're just going to see our two faces looking annoyed they're not going to be able to use any of these shots.
There were moments where it was like, I'm going to look like I'm chuckling because they're filming.
There were a couple of like under the breath, like noises I made. Like,
yeah.
There was not really anything that was like a laugh out loud moment. There was nothing that compared to Caroline when we saw her in December and we were like crying laughing. We were so not the target audience because everybody else was just having a grand old time. So we do not have stickers signed by Caroline Ray, but we will absolutely, and by the way, I do not blame Caroline for this at all. I absolutely understand that she is doing a lot of stuff right now and her schedule is chaotic and I'm sure she actually gave them notice. I blame the venue for not being on top of it and taking care of things the way they needed to.
Agreed.
So yeah, that was our adventure.
No, it's the memories and friendship we make along the way.
We did have a great discussion on the drive back.
Yes, we had a good rant session.
It was a nice bonding moment.
I dropped some tea finally that I had not filled Laura in on.
And I got some feelings out that I'd been feeling for a bit. So, it was nice. We're also recording this one day later because I was in such a bad mood because a bunch of other stuff happened when I was getting home and I was just so angry at the world and I was in such a bad mood yesterday. And I texted Sky yesterday at around 4 and I was like, we can't record tonight. I'm in a really bad mood. It's not going to play well for the podcast. So I'm in a better mood today, even though I am annoyed with my washing machine and the dishwasher guy. But now I have a new dishwasher. So there's that. At least one appliance is new.
And I was fine with not recording yesterday because I've had this on and off migraine sinus. I don't even know. I'm dying probably. It's probably tuberculosis.
Tumor in your sinuses or something. Is it the asbestos? Do you have mesothelioma?
Oh, maybe, though the latency period is 14 years and it's
that they know of.
It's a little over 14 at this point.
There's always outliers.
But I'd had it particularly bad and it hit the worst Saturday afternoon. So I took a nap, I drank a Celsius, I rallied to go see.
I had no idea you weren't feeling well.
I'm great at masking the pain, but I rallied for some popcorn and not a dirty Coke.
Yeah, we will get you a dirty Coke. Oh, I already said we could get them when we go to the Dashboard and Goo Goo Dolls concert because they have them there.
Oh, yes.
And then you'll have a sip of it and I'll drink the rest.
Exactly, yeah. I will then go to the Red Bull slushy stand instead.
Should we talk about the episode now?
I don't know.
You can join us back, or we could just end it here and make this a mini episode and be like, Laura and Sky complain for 40 minutes straight.
If you have frustrations you want to get out, talk along with us and just
absolutely
let them out right now.
Let's just do an angry venting podcast episode and we'll just read. Everybody can write in whatever's bothering them and we'll read it out.
For those of you who have just rejoined us, welcome back. For those who stuck around for our ranting, go ahead and award yourself one virtual Salem meme coin. And now let's finally get to Sabrina.
I do actually have a question of the week. So we're still going to talk some more, but this is going to be a short answer question.
Okay.
Growing up, did you have a real or fake Christmas tree?
For the most part, fake. A couple years real.
Yeah, when I was thinking about mine, I was like, because we've always had fake trees. We used to have one that had the flock on it. For most of my childhood, we had the flocked trees. And then we had a cat that liked to eat the flock.
Oh no.
That was Ebony. And then we got just a regular tree. But then at some point, my mom really wanted an aluminum Christmas tree because those were really hot when she was growing up. And she was always jealous of the kids who had those because her family always had real Christmas trees. So then we got an aluminum Christmas tree as well. So my parents still have 2 Christmas trees. And the aluminum one sits in their front room with the color wheel on it. So you see it in their front window when you drive past their house. And if you're ever on heavy pain meds because you have a kidney stone, it's a grand old time to just watch the colors change on that tree. But I was thinking about old trees and old decorations. And my grandma used to have these lights and they were bubbler lights. They were really tall light bulbs and you would flick them and then bubbles would start going through them. And I think they were a super bad fire hazard. So I don't think they make them anymore. But those are my favorite lights. Season 2, episode 12. It is titled Sabrina Claus. TV guide description. Sabrina meets the real Santa Claus named Bob and has to fill in for him when he is injured. The Paramount Plus Pluto description. A special visitor from the other realm helps Sabrina recapture the true spirit of Christmas. I feel like those are pretty equal.
Yeah.
It's do you want the spoiler of it being Santa or not is basically the only difference. It originally aired December 19th, 1997. So Kenneth Koch is our director. He actually passed away not too long ago on October 30th of 2022. He produced 144 episodes of Sabrina. He was also the producer of Sabrina Goes to Rome and then producer of TJ Hooker, Beauty and the Beast, which is the 2-year-lived TV show, and Blossom, one of my favorite early 90s TV shows. Did you ever watch Blossom, Sky?
No.
Oh, I think we talked about this way back at the beginning of the podcast. There was a hat in one of the early episodes, and I was like, oh, it's like a Blossom hat.
Oh, yes.
Our writer is returning Charlie Tursick. So he wrote on Dante's Inferno. And we have quite a few guest stars this time. First up is Johnny Mathis as himself. He's a best-selling American singer known for his romantic ballads and velvet voice. His career spans 69 years with 73 albums, making the Billboard charts, several reaching gold or platinum status. He was actually outed in 1982 by Us magazine.
Not cool, Us.
Nope. But he became like kind of one of the first well-known celebrities that was out, not by his own choice. The one song that I know is Misty, because my mother sings that. I get misty. Next, we have John Ratzenberger as Bob/Santa Claus. You should absolutely know him either as Cliff from Cheers or from voices in every single Pixar movie.
I love the one after credits Pixar where it's him going through and being like, wait, these are all the same.
It's one of the Cars ones, and he keeps complimenting his characters in universe. Yeah. I don't think he's been in the more recent Pixars. I think the last couple of years he's stopped doing it, but for a while there he was in all of them. Next, we have Jane Carr as Dr. Bull from Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, Willow, the TV series that came out not that long ago, Phineas and Ferb, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Gilmore Girls, The Clueless TV show, and 90 episodes of Dear John. Stephen Shenbaum is Ted from Space Jam, American Pie 2, Beverly Hills 90210, Dermot and Greg, and Will and Grace. Quark Hubbard is Fritz from The Drew Carey Show, ER, Dateless, where he played Tattoo on Ass Julio. That's the name of the character. And Charmed. Kim Delgado is Mr. Glass from Kindergarten Cop, Patriot Games, The Goldbergs, CSI, Crossing Jordan, and Even Stevens. Richard Taylor Olsen is Russell from Seventh Heaven, Married with Children, and Slappy and the Stinkers. Sergei Bruslovsky, which I've been reading or listening to an audiobook of Anna Karenina, and I feel like I did not pronounce that correctly. But he is the Russian man. He was in Two Broke Girls, ER, How I Met Your Mother, and Mad About You. And lastly is Emily Malinowski as the inner child, and this is her only acting credit. Sky, what are your thoughts on this episode?
You know, I was pretty dang right about my guess last week. Sabrina didn't kill Santa.
No.
But otherwise, Salem was an elf deer. Sabrina delivered presents, so
Did you just call Salem an elf deer?
Yeah. In the episode, I was debating what we would call an elf plus a reindeer.
Was he really helpful as an elf?
I don't know, and he's more reindeer. But he was an adorable reindeer.
He was. I did like that. I had a hard time really getting into the episode, and I will talk about this throughout it, but I was mostly just annoyed by the outfits because I'm like, it is Christmas. It is snowing. It is December in Massachusetts. None of these people are dressed appropriately. It gets cold, and those were not winter outfits. But overall, I think it's a nice little episode.
Will I remember it? Yeah.
There was no Valerie. There was no Mr. Kraft. There was no Miss Quick. But we did get Libby at Christmas time, and apparently this is the only Christmas episode that has Libby in it.
That's a shame.
I did like the little tiny little side plot that Libby got. It was kind of fun.
She has a heart.
When it's magically induced. All right, our cold open. Hilda and Zelda are decorating for Christmas while Sabrina is writing her wish list, including a lot of large ticket items. And we get another reference to the Little Match Girl, which is our second one in this series, which I feel like is one more than I would expect in any series.
Two more than I would expect.
It's true. She even included a list of times she won't be around so the ants can wrap her presents. She leaves and the ants finish decorating by zapping in a tree. Zelda feels that they should do things the mortal way, buying a tree and decorating it by hand. Hilda reluctantly agrees, which is the funniest. It's the shortest little like, okay. But they realize they don't know where to buy a tree.
How do you feel about the piano now being a table for the nativity and the poinsettias?
I'm pretty sure my mind blocks out whenever the piano is being used inappropriately because I didn't even register that the piano was in that scene. I think my eyes just refuse to go over in that direction.
The trauma.
Yep. Sabrina also has on a plastic choker, which triggered me. I think I was more focused on the plastic choker to notice the piano. And I was also distracted by her short skirt for December in Massachusetts. This is where it starts.
It just goes downhill from here.
Yep. Our outfit intro is Sabrina dressed as a tin soldier, and she says, "Too much rouge?" Sabrina is discussing which presents she wants the most with Harvey. Harvey got a job as a Santa Claus, so he can't go do research with her at the mall.
Sabrina wants to shoot for A, a computer and a mountain bike, B, a computer and a ski jacket, or C, all of the above. And speaking of Little Match Girl large ticket items. Computers in 1997 ranged from 1,600 to 4,000, while laptops were 2,600 to 4,100. Sabrina is expecting a lot.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we do know her aunts have money, and she recently found that out too. So she may be like, hey, she's also been asking for a car for like 3 episodes now. So she's at least come down from that.
Remember all those bonds you bragged about?
Mm-hmm. That's why you don't discuss money, kids. You keep it to yourself. Harvey does get bummed out when kids ask him for things and he knows they won't get them. Sabrina is sympathetic for a moment, then goes back to talking about what she wants. Sabrina is thinking about the presents she wants in class rather than paying attention. Suddenly, there's a George Washington on a mountain bike in her class. Her teacher calls her back to attention and asks why she's smiling when they're discussing a very bloody war.
And on that day, they are covering the Battle of Brandywine, which was the largest battle in the Revolutionary War with over 30,000 soldiers, and that's not including civilians, teamsters, other members of the army, etc., and all fought within a 10-mile radius. It was fought on September 11th, 1777, from roughly 5 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. It saw an estimated 1,300 American casualties and 600 British casualties before Washington called for a retreat. Although it ended in a loss, it did help convince France to join the colonial side, as it showed Americans were a stubborn and resilient force. I will note that 1777 was a pivotal year for the American Revolution, and because this is a Christmas episode in 1777, you also got Washington's famous crossing of the Delaware on Christmas.
September 11th is not a great day for Americans, is it?
No.
The aunts have their tree and are struggling to put it up.
Oh, I see. First you kill the tree, and then you humiliate it, says Salem. He has some great lines this episode.
He does. Hilda is annoyed, and Zelda says next they can roast chestnuts the mortal way. Hilda exasperatedly, which I don't know if that's a word, but I'm making it a word, asks if they're going to drive to the store.
How did you go get your tree? You had to already go to a store to buy your tree unless they...
I'm betting they zapped it because I cannot see Hilda just strapping a tree to the top of a car. Sabrina joins Harvey in the cafeteria and is unimpressed by the food choices, so she decides to zap herself a baked potato. Cut away to an obviously impoverished Russian whose potato suddenly disappears after waiting 4 days in line for it. Sabrina sits down with Harvey and he is astonished to see the potato. She offers him a bite, but he declines because it smells like vodka. The aunts are working on sawing part of the tree off, with Salem providing snide remarks.
Keep trimming that tree and you'll be able to use it in your car as an air freshener.
Harvey asks Libby about her holiday plans in the hallway, but she hates Christmas. She has to spend time with her bratty stepbrother. Harvey is surprised to hear there's a brat in her family, and I can never tell with Harvey if he's being sincere or sarcastic. It can go either way. Sabrina is listening in, and Libby hits her with, hoping Santa gives you a personality this year. Libby also has a short skirt on, and I feel like we've seen this outfit before, and it might be the episode where Sabrina turned herself into Libby when they're volunteering at the old folks' home. Salem is now using a megaphone to direct the ants in putting up the tree. His Lamaze classes are paying off. The ants get it up and are proud of their very sparse, very tilted tree. Salem understands why mortals drink during the holidays. At dinner, Sabrina offers to conjure more asparagus for her and Hilda. And do you put ketchup on asparagus?
I don't. I put a little salt, a little pepper, maybe a little Parmesan, but that's it. A little lemon.
Maybe like melted butter. That's the first time I've ever heard of ketchup on asparagus, and it does not sound appealing to me.
I am willing to try a single bite.
All right. You also still have to do MSG and candy corn.
Oh yeah, I have the MSG. I just need the candy corns.
Well, we're almost to spooky season, so I'm betting that they're in the grocery stores now.
Spooky season lives in my heart all year, but I can't wait.
Hilda declines, and when Sabrina summons some just for herself, it takes it off of Hilda's fork. There might be something wrong with her magic. Hilda tells her to try conjuring something else.
Where Salem pipes in with, I could use some protein. How about a wharf rat? Which is ignored. Poor Salem.
What is a wharf rat? And how is that different than a normal rat? Is it just a rat that lives on the wharf?
It's just another name for a rat. It's your common brown rat.
Okay. Sabrina zaps in a blouse. It appears, and she says she's fine. Just then, Zelda walks in from a lecture wearing a coat. When she takes it off, her top is gone. What happened to her blouse? Sabrina guiltily hands over the blouse she just summoned. Sabrina tells Zelda something is wrong with her. Salem pleads with her to not conjure anything with fur. The problem might be psychological. And I really like Sabrina's top in this scene. It was very Christmassy. They send Sabrina off to a doctor in the other realm.
Hilda notes that she has 2 doctorates from other realm universities and 1 from Utah State. Aggies all the way. Go Aggies. Hey, hey, hey.
But, like, how did they pick that?
I don't know, but it was a great moment.
Like, you could have asked somebody in Utah in the 90s to pick a school, and I don't think anybody would have picked Utah State. I do appreciate them. It was very random.
That was rude.
But true. That
was rude.
We switch to Sabrina lying on a couch talking to the doctor, who says she is suffering from ego-titis. Sabrina is behaving like a little girl, and she zaps out Sabrina's inner child. The doctor asks the child what she likes most about Christmas, and the kid talks only about presents. Sabrina is trying to recapture the excitement of Christmas she felt as a child, so she's acting like a child, or a spoiled brat, medically speaking. The cure must come from within by rediscovering the magic of Christmas. Then she hands Sabrina a bill for $120. Oh, I should have said this back at the beginning when they were sending Sabrina off to the other realm, but they all have short skirts on, but at least Hilda has on tights and boots with fur.
Boots with the fur, whole club looking at her.
Hilda would absolutely dance to that song and wear some apple bottom jeans.
She hit the floor.
Next thing you know.
Hilda got low.
Sabrina is helping decorate, but still doesn't feel very Christmassy. Hilda tells her to put on some Johnny Mathis, so she conjures a CD that disappears from Johnny Mathis's house. Sabrina puts it in the CD player, and Zelda starts dancing around. Hilda looks at the CD case and realizes Sabrina took it from Johnny Mathis. Sabrina suggests opening a present to make her feel better, but suddenly all the presents disappear. The aunts explain she can't get any presents. Receiving gifts only make ego-titis worse. And it was at this point that I thought we were going into a different episode, because there's another episode where Sabrina acts like a spoiled brat, and it gets kind of disturbing. So Sabrina doesn't really learn her lesson in this episode because it's going to come back.
Like Amanda level disturbing?
Yeah, it's weird. It gets real weird.
Oh dear.
Sabrina doesn't understand the point of Christmas without presents. And here Hilda says something about church. And I was just like, are witches Christian? Because sometimes, but then they also talk about like hanging out with Greek gods at some point. So I don't understand.
Maybe it's like the whole pantheon where if it exists, it exists. So you have all the different cultures. They're all just secretly hanging out with Zod and Teen Angel.
His name was Rod.
I think Zod sounds cooler.
Sabrina did meet Rod. I don't know. Sure. Sabrina asks if there's anything the aunts can do to help. Zelda admits there is someone they can call, but he's a very big deal in the other realm. Let it be Drill. And it's Bob! The aunts summon him, and Bob appears. They explain that Sabrina has ego-titis. He points out that they have another problem, a very sorry-looking Christmas tree. Sabrina pipes up that it would look better with presents. Bob decides to try and help her get in the Christmas spirit. They're going to try and recapture her childhood Christmas memories. And we get a montage, because I feel like we've gotten a lot of montages this season.
The season of the montage.
Wasn't it like a couple episodes ago where there was an episode with 2 different montages in it?
Yeah.
Sabrina leaves with Bob, and they walk down a snowy street where Sabrina attempts to give money to a Santa, but needs Bob's help to actually let go of the money. Then they bake some cookies that Sabrina ends up burning. Libby stands in line with her family to meet Santa, and her stepbrother suddenly claims that she hit him. Libby starts to get yelled at by, I thought it was her parents at first, but on a second watch, it may have just been random adults standing in line in front of them that started yelling at her. As Sabrina looks on in amusement, Sabrina and Bob build a snowman, and Sabrina is starting to feel more like Christmas. Suddenly, Bob slips on some ice and hurts his ankle. She summons a cane, but the spell steals it from an elderly man. She still has ego-titis. And Bob says something like, you're still worried about getting presents, except she hadn't said anything about getting presents. The aunts have finished decorating their tree with what looks like every ball and light in the house. They look proudly at their tree for a moment and then zap it back to the very first one they had. Sabrina arrives back home yelling for help. They get Bob on the couch while they go into the kitchen. The aunts start yelling at Sabrina and tell her that Bob is actually Santa Claus. She just maimed Father Christmas. They have Bob's ankle propped up and give him an ice pack, but he has a lot of deliveries to make. He yells out in pain when he tries to stand. Sabrina asks if there's anyone that can fill in for him. He could call Mrs. Claus, but she works for UPS. Zelda and Hilda can't help. They have to stay here and take care of Bob. Everyone turns and looks at Sabrina. She protests that she can't do it and asks if they can't just order everyone something from a catalog. Sabrina gets her coat on and repeats back the instructions on how to get to the North Pole before leaving. Salem doubts her ability to get this done. Zelda admits he has a point and gives him a sneaky look. And there's a line that Bob says where it says, take the second Santa's workshop exit. And my brain immediately went to like, yeah, just like you take the second Santa Quinn exit when you go to Red Barn.
You do love Red Barn.
I love Red Barn. If you're ever in the middle of Utah, stop by Red Barn for some good homemade ice cream.
This is the second time you've shouted them out. They should sponsor us at this point. Also, maybe you just need to go to the middle of Utah to heal your soul.
No, okay. So I actually messaged them on Instagram to ask if they had their dark chocolate habanero ice cream that I love, because it's usually in the late summer. And they were like, oh no, we had it a couple months ago. We don't have it right now. And I was like, no, I drive all the way from West Jordan to come get it at least once a summer. And they're like, we're so sorry. We'll tell you when it comes back. I was like, thank you. So maybe if I'm like, hey, by the way, I talk about you on my podcast all the time.
Give me free ice cream.
Why? You should just make it and keep it in stock for me. I don't care if the habaneros aren't in season. The elves are hard at work when Sabrina arrives with Salem in her arms. The elves gather around her and freak out when she tells them that Santa had an accident and she is filling in. They put her to work wrapping presents. The aunts serve Bob a tea tray and ask if he needs anything else. He asks for a bunch more food, then asks if they want to play Mousetrap. Have you played Mousetrap, Sky?
I have.
Have you actually played it all the way through?
No. I mean, half the time took just setting up that board.
I feel like I would just set it up and be like, all right, I'm done. I'm glad that's a universal experience. Salem is watching the elves work, and then chaos breaks out. The list is missing, but then it's found. But the reindeer ate it. The elves ask Sabrina what she's going to do. She asks if there's a copy. They direct her to a laptop, but none of them know how to use it. She gives it a try. And they can't use the laptop because Fritz got addicted to solitaire, and I was just like, he would love online gaming.
He would.
Hilda's running out to pick up a long list of food for Bob.
A lot of quick scenes, again.
Sabrina gets the list, but now the reindeer are sick from the list they ate. Sabrina zaps a vacuum cleaner with Salem dressed as a reindeer, and he is the most weather-appropriate dressed person in this episode because he has on a big furry coat.
Not to mention fur all the time.
Yeah, with the fur. Anyway, they take off to deliver the presents. Hilda joins Zelda in the kitchen and tells her that it's Zelda's turn to give him a pedicure. They argue over whose turn it is as they both clipped Bob's ear hair. Sabrina has taken care of the Baltic states' presents and is now somehow in Massachusetts. We just skipped Western Europe. She spots Libby's house and zaps something down. Libby is sitting by the Christmas tree when her stepbrother comes up and gives her a jewelry box he made. She offers to split the roof of her gingerbread house with him. Sabrina gave Libby love for her stepbrother. Salem would have gone with a lump of coal. Zelda and Hilda are entertaining Bob by playing ukuleles and singing She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain. He calls for an encore, then asks for more food despite being noticeably larger than before, and holds up a huge cup for Coco. Salem is looking for a stomach pump because of everything he's eaten. Sabrina zaps something to Harvey's house next and calls it a Christmas miracle. Hilda and Zelda come downstairs the next morning as Bob sleeps on the couch.
I couldn't sleep at all last night. I kept thinking about that line, he sees you when you're sleeping, says Hilda, and it's a valid line. It's creepy.
Can you imagine going to sleep and waking up and Bob's just standing over you being like, I need more food.
Coco.
Feed me. Sabrina comes in and puts down Salem, who runs off to eat some grass. This is where I was like expecting your star to be like, this is why cats eat grass.
Well, doesn't everyone know why cats eat grass?
Not people who aren't cat people, I don't think.
It helps their digestion. Like if your cat goes out, eats some grass, and pukes the grass, that is good. They should be puking the grass they just ate.
It's an emetic. Like, yeah. When you call poison control and they're like, drink something to make you throw up. They ask her how it went, and it was great. She doesn't care if she gets presents. Suddenly, the presents under the tree reappear. Her ego-titis is gone. She zaps away one of the presents to someone who needs it more than her, and it goes to the Russian whose potato she stole.
He hesitantly opens the box and says, "The Gap?"
Poor Russian man. He can't eat that shirt or pants. Bob wakes up and congratulates Sabrina. When he gets up, he's dressed like Santa, complete with beard. He admits he was faking the whole thing to teach Sabrina a lesson and get a break from the elves. He pulls his beard and zaps presents for the ants. They are shocked by what they get and forgive him for how annoying he was.
Sabrina at least does admit she was inappropriately dressed because she's like, oh, I could have used that suit last night.
Yeah. Which I'm like, or you could just put on pants, but okay.
And then Hilda gets Mozart live at Emperor Joseph's court that Bob recorded, and Zelda gets an invitation to the meeting of the minds at Stephen Hawking's house. Joseph II was a patron of the arts, and he commissioned works from both Mozart and Beethoven, and was known as being an enlightened despot.
That's what I aim to be.
Let me tell you just quickly about some enlightened despotism there. Also known as enlightened absolutism, refers to the conduct and policies of European absolute monarchs during the 18th and early 19th centuries who were influenced by the ideas of the Enlightenment, espousing them to enhance their power. The concept originated during the Enlightenment period in the 18th and into the early 19th centuries. Enlightened monarchs distinguished themselves from ordinary rulers by claiming to rule for their subjects' well-being. John Stuart Mill stated that despotism is a legitimate mode of government in dealing with barbarians, provided the end be their improvement. Enlightened despots' beliefs about the royal power were typically similar to those of regular despots, both recognizing that they were destined to rule. Enlightened rulers may have played a part in the abolition of serfdom in Europe. The enlightened despotism of Emperor Joseph II of the Holy Roman Empire is summarized as everything for the people, nothing by the people.
I'm gonna take an enlightened despot right now.
Yeah.
Get some arts. Get rid of the serfdom. Like, you know what? It's not bad. Maybe minimum wage would get raised. Salem is recounting all the food he ate.
Salem's rules for eating abroad. Kielbasa plus sauerkraut equals yes. Kielbasa plus menudo plus haggis equals no.
Then Harvey arrives with a present for Sabrina. It's a mouse because he couldn't afford the whole computer. He also got a call from the department store. All the kids that came to see him got exactly what they asked for. So the parents of every child who went to that department store called the department store on Christmas morning. Somebody was working, got those calls, and then called Harvey. Sabrina says, "You're welcome," then quickly zaps some mistletoe and they kiss. So we're dating again?
I don't know. I groaned, like, put me out of my misery with this. Why was that a plot line?
Because we haven't had any, like, romantic stuff for a bit. They were very much friends, but the romance was gone. So I was like, maybe it's just a Christmas kiss.
It's a special occasion kiss. The rules don't apply on Christmas.
You know those friends you make out with on the holidays?
Oh, yeah. Just casual.
Labor Day, Memorial Day, Arbor Day. In our end tag, the family is opening presents. Salem got a Bob Newhart album, specifically the Button Down Mind of Bob Newhart, which is a 1960 live album recorded at the Tidesdale Club in Houston, Texas. It was his debut album and reached number 1 on the Billboard chart and remained at the top for 14 weeks. Go Bob. Other Bob. Hilda gives Zelda a blanket, and Zelda zaps in Johnny Mathis for Hilda. He starts singing a Christmas carol, and Sabrina complains that she didn't get anything for Johnny. And that is the episode. I think Salem and then the Libby storyline are my favorite parts of this episode.
Yeah, Salem stole the episode. This is the Salem Christmas story, which is fitting because the last one was also about Salem.
That's true.
I hereby decree that all Christmas episodes must be about Salem Saberhagen.
I will accept that. I also like John Ratzenberger. He's a fun dude.
Oh, yeah.
Next episode, season 2, episode 13, Little Big Craft. What's it about, Sky?
Sounds like it's about a ska band. Please let it just be that Sabrina is like Alice in Wonderlanding, making Mr. Kraft like teeny tiny and then super huge, and not that it is Sabrina somehow turning Mr. Kraft into a tiny, terrifying man baby that shall not be named.
But he wasn't a tiny man baby. He was a large man baby.
You know what I mean. Don't repeat season 1, episode 3, the episode that shall not be named.
Well, we will watch it next week and see what happens.
Maybe we'll get some ska music.
Maybe he creates a ska band.
I like that.
In the meantime, you can like, share, rate, and subscribe to this podcast. You can email us at somethingwitchypod@gmail.com, and I will read it and maybe reply. You can follow us on Instagram at somethingwitchypod for fun polls and posters and other things, and TikTok at something.witchy.pod for videos whenever I remember to make some.
And also Facebook when you want to try and alert us to canceled comedy shows. Maybe we'll see more if we get more followers there.
Maybe. Until next time.
Stay magical.